Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 11th faculty seminar conducted under the Department of Basic Science and Humanities. These seminars are conducted so that people from different disciplines can interact with one another, share ideas, and of course, gives an opportunity for them to present their thesis and other ideas as well. So today we have Dr. Deepa K. Baby. So a brief introduction about today's presenter before we start with the seminar. So Dr. Deepa K. Baby obtained her postgraduate degree in chemistry from St. Stephen's College, Calicut in 2005 and qualified for her UGC NET and joined as project fellow under the guidance of Dr. Raju Francis, associate professor under Mahatma Gandhi University, Kerala. She obtained her doctorate in chemistry from Calicut University in the year 2016. She has 7 international publications in the field of polymer chemistry in high impact journals. She's also won the Young Researcher Award in international conference jointly organized by NIT Calicut and Leeds University in the United Kingdom. She's been working as an assistant professor in chemistry under the Basic Science and Humanities department in Rajagiri since February 2016. So today her topic will be stimuli responsive hydrogels in drug delivery applications. Okay, so before I hand over the presentation, here are a few rules. Make sure that you keep your cameras off and mute yourself so as to not disturb the presentation. In case you do have any doubts, we'll give you some time towards the end of the presentation. And simultaneously, if you can also just put it in chat. Towards the end of the presentation, we'll be sharing a link in the chat for which you can give the feedback to the presentation which you are about to engage in. So without any further delay, over to you, Deepa Miss.
Thank you, Vinay, for the nice words. Today, I like to enlighten you with stimuli-responsive hydrogels in drug delivery applications. First of all, we will see what is a hydrogel. Hydrogel is a three-dimensional networks of hydrophilic polymeric chains that do not dissolve in water, but it can swell in water. And that means it have both solid-like and liquid-like properties, and they are biocompatible. And the most important property is that it is having a response to various stimuli, that is temperature, pH, light, specific molecules, etc. And thereby it is used in drug delivery applications. So how to prepare this hydrogel? You can have two different types of preparation. One is chemical cross-linking, another one is physical cross-linking. In chemical cross-linking, you have a covalent bond in it, and thereby you can prepare a thermoset. That means it cannot be reverted back, and it is showing this volume phase transition, and as a result it is having high shape stability and memory. Whereas in physical hydrogels, it is also known as injectable hydrogels, and it is formed by physical interaction like hydrogen bonding, hydrophobic interaction, then entanglement, etc. And it is a thermoplastic hydrogel, and it is having less shape stability and memory. So these are the various preparation method for the synthesis of this hydrogels. One is physical, that is self-assembly. In self-assembly, you should have a hydrophobic and hydrophilic monomer in it. Thereby, you can prepare a micelle from this. So if it is water, then hydrophilic will be in the periphery and hydrophobic structure will be in the interior core. Then you can use different chemical reactions such as click chemistry. Click chemistry means by a click reaction, you can insert a cross-linking. For that, you can use alkynes, double bonded or triple bonded structure, and side linkage. A side linkage should be there, and you can introduce click reaction, and cross-linking can be inserted into the polymeric chain. Then disulfide cross-linking, that means vulcanization of rubber, you have the sulfur linkage. Likewise, you can incorporate disulfide cross-linking in a polymer. Then you can use UV light. When by UV light, if it is applied to a polymer, then cross-linking takes place. Different methods are there. And Next is properties and structure of hydrogels. The main important property for this drug delivery application, you should have the swelling property, and the swelling property is measured by this swelling ratio, and swelling ratio is calculated by an equation, and it is Ws minus Wd by Wd, whereas Ws is the weight of swollen hydrogels and Wd is the weight of dried hydrogels, and it depends on several factors. The swelling ratio depends on several factors. First one is the type and composition of the monomer selected. Then environmental parameters such as pH. If you are using different pH, that is 4, 7, 9, etc., you will get the different swelling ratio. Then cross-linking will give you the mechanical strength and permeability of the polymeric gel. Okay. Then you can incorporate either hydrophilic monomer or hydrophobic monomer into the gel. If you are introducing hydrophobic monomer and if you're having extensive cross-linking, then mechanical strength and density of the gel will increase, but swelling property decrease. You should have a optimum swelling ratio to use this hydrogel as a drug carrier. So you have to select the monomer accordingly. Then what are the different applications of the hydrogels? Hydrogels is mainly used in biomedical field. Then you can incorporate nanomaterials into hydrogels, and this can be done by different methods. First, you can take the hydrogel. On the periphery, you can coat a nanomaterial. Nanomaterial, it have a very small in size. That means if you are coating silver nanoparticle onto the hydrogel, then antimicrobial property can increase, or you can use targeted drug delivery by this. Second, you can uniformly distribute nanomaterials into the matrix. Thereby, you will get a uniform distribution of nanomaterials in it. Or you can insert this nanomaterial inside the hydrogel as a encapsulate this nanomaterial into the drug. This is how you can incorporate nanomaterials into the hydrogels. Then what are the various biomedical applications? First one I told you, it is drug delivery. Drug delivery means it is cross-linked gels have so many pores inside, and you can, inside the pores, you can fill the drug particles. Next is bioprinting. Bioprinting is the extended version of 3D printing itself. And in bioprinting, you are using living cells such as tissues, etc. For hydrogels with tissues are used in this bioprinting, and thereby you can create liver, kidneys, etc. from this. Next is tissue engineering. Tissue engineering means you can use this hydrogel as a scaffold on which you are growing the cell, and you need a cell for the growth, and growth factors or nutrients are needed. Then this hydrogel will act as a support, and it is known as scaffold. Then wound healing, that means hydrogels can be incorporated with natural polymers like as chitosan. It can be seen in the exoskeletons of crabs, etc. And it is very good, it is having very good self-healing property. You can incorporate this chitosan with the hydrogel, and therefore you can use in wound healing devices. Next, the main part, that is drug delivery. You have to select a polymer, and it should be biocompatible. Next, it should be cost effective. Then the drug hydrogel with drug should have a right size for the to survive this rapid renal filtration and elimination. Again, there should be a strong interaction between drug and polymer. Otherwise, if you during the storage and transport, premature drug release will take place. Therefore, actual dose is not taken into the bone. So you have to give utmost care for this polymer drug bond. Next, the mainly used hydrogel in this drug delivery is N-isopropyl acrylamide. Acrylamide you can see in this baby diapers, etc. It is having a very good swelling property. And another property of this N-isopropyl acrylamide, you can shorten it as P-NIPA. Okay, P-NIPA. And another property is that it is having a very good lower critical solution temperature at 37 degrees Celsius, which is our body temperature. That is what is this lower critical solution temperature means? Below this lower critical solution temperature, it is a clear transparent gel, when it is heated above this 37 degrees Celsius, it will become turbid. That is the main property of this P-NIPAM. And as a result, it is used in controlled drug delivery. Then cell separation. If you are in the scaffolds, I told you can regenerate cells from this hydrogels. If you are using these cells, cell separators, then if you are increasing the temperature above 37 degree, you can easily remove the cell from the scaffold. Then as reversible gelators, then micellase can be prepared from this. Then why this transition takes place at 37 degrees Celsius? That is due to coil to globule transition, below which it is hydrophilic and above which it is hydrophobic. Hydrophilic, water loving, and hydrophobic, water repellent. So if you are incorporating hydrophobic monomers with P-NIPAM, then LCST will increase. And if you are incorporating hydrophilic monomer with NIPAM, then LCST will decrease. I will show the mechanism. This is red colored wavy material is our P-NIPAM. P-NIPAM, it is incorporated with hydrophilic monomer. So you have P-NIPAM with hydrophilic monomer. Suppose you can take acrylic acid. Then it is dissolved in water. And when it is dissolved in water, both the segments, that is P-NIPAM and the monomer, which is hydrophilic, so two segments are hydrophilic. Therefore, it will extend its structure all over the solution. That is, in water, it is acting as a coiled structure. When you are increasing the temperature above 37 degrees Celsius, what happens? Our NIPAM is above 37 degrees Celsius. It is hydrophobic. So it will comes into the core, and the hydrophobic monomer will be in the periphery. So you will get a micellase structure. This is the micellase structure with core corona shape. Core, it is hydrophobic, and corona, it is hydrophilic, and this process is known as self-assembly. Then if you are incorporating hydrophobic monomer with NIPAM, what happens? When it is dissolved in water, our NIPAM is hydrophilic below 37 degrees Celsius. The hydrophobic monomer, it is water repellent, so it will be in the inside. That is, in the core region, you will see this hydrophobic monomer. When you are increasing the temperature, both P-NIPAM and the hydrophobic monomer will be water repellent, and as a result, there will be aggregation and turbidity will appear. If extent of aggregation increases, then you will get a turbid nature in the solution. So this is the mechanism of coil to globule. In hydrophilic nature, it is exist in coil, and hydrophobic, it will be in globule nature. Then how loading of drug is done in the hydrogel. So this is the hydrogel, and you can see in the Petri dish, you can see the swollen gel and also the dried gel. Dried gel is of 1 mm in dia, whereas swollen hydrogel is of 5 mm in dia. And also you can see the size of hydrogel in various pH, that is pH 4, 7 and 9. The 4 and selected because it is the pH of our blood and intestine. That is why different pHs are selected. You can see different size range in this pH. Okay, so you can take the hydrogel and you can add the powdered drug into the solution, and you can keep it there for 2 to 3 days. Then drug will be loaded. That loading can be calculated by noting the remaining portion of drug in the solution. Then drug is loaded in this hydrogel, and this is the porous structure, and it is in nano size. In the porous structure, drug get loaded. Either you can load drug covalently or by physical method. Then how the release of drug will take place? First one, if the drug is uniformly distributed in the matrix, then by diffusion, you can release drug from the hydrogel. That is diffusion process. Diffusion means the solute will move from higher concentration to lower concentration. So that is, from this you can attain the release of drug in the solution. Next, encapsulation. Encapsulation, drug is there in the core, and when it is inserted in a solution where you have to release drug, then this drug is released in a slowly and controlled fashion. Next is surface erosion and degradation control. Surface erosion means on the periphery you have a structure or membrane. You can rupture the structure. As a result, from the interior, the drug will escape outside and release takes place. Another one is when the hydrogen is taken to different pH, depending upon the pH, degradation will start. You are using biocompatible and biodegradable polymers, so degradation will start, and depending upon the degradation, slowly drug is released. After that, first you have to load drug, then release of drug you have to study. Then you have to study in vitro and in vivo studies. In vitro means outside the body, and in vivo it is inside the body. So this is the current, we are plotting drug release versus time. Then this is the current formulation. First there will be an initial burst, then it will be in the normal range. Then actually the ideal formulation will be from the starting itself, gradually the drug in the body should increase. Then in vivo, you are studying the release in blood. Again, this is the condition. First there will be an initial burst, then it comes down. So ideal formulation means there should be the drug for a prolonged time. That is attained by this hydrogel, because hydrogel will be taken inside, it will undergo degradation slowly, and release of drug is taking place in a controlled manner. Then what are the specific areas where these hydrogels are used? First one, it is ophthalmic. Ophthalmic, after this surgery, ophthalmic surgery, for removing the pain, you can use this drug, Dextenza, and Dextenza is coated in hydrogel. Then you can have this controlled release. Otherwise, lot of drug will be lost by eye drainage. And another application is in oral and intestinal. That means retention time of the drug can be increased if you are taking this drug in the hydrogel. Next is in cardiac illness and cancer. That is curcumin and nitric oxide can be loaded in this hydrogel, and you can use this too at the same time, and you can use this for cardiac illness. Next, in future perspective, it is used in cancer cell killing. That is, you can target the cancer area, affected area, and if you are using a thermally responsive hydro, always the cancer affected area is at a higher temperature. You can visualize that, because if there is an infection, then the temperature of that part is very high. So if you are injecting a hydrogel to that targeted area, what happens is that because of this thermoresponsive nature, hydrogel will undergo expansion. And this expansion is done by a physical force, and thereby more heat is generated. And by this more heat is generated means the cancer cell will undergo rupture. Thereby, you can use it for effective cancer cell killing. In summary, hydrogels offer a versatile platform for the therapy of several diseases like cancer, diabetes, etc. The water-loving nature of hydrogels and the ability to shrink and swell is very much useful for the drug delivery application. Then, so many advancements were now carried out in this hydrogel modification using DNA molecules. Micellar from DNA and IPAM have been done, and it is very effective because it is biocompatible, and thereby you can use it for various biomedical applications. Thank you for listening.
Okay, so now we'll open up for any doubts, any queries which you'd like to ask. For anyone else, we shared the feedback link in the chat. So Deepti Miss has shared the feedback link in the chat. Please do give a feedback before you leave. But anyone else, are there any doubts? Anything you'd like to ask Deepa Miss?
Deepa Miss, is it used for the diabetic treatment?
Sorry, sir?
Diabetic treatment is this.
Diabetic treatment for
Generally,
we can generalize. We can use it for all purpose. We can take it into directly to blood or to intestine. It can be taken orally or by injecting mode. You can take it.
Means you are using this hydrogel for drug delivery in the case of even diabetics. I mean to say.
Yes, sir. In diabetic, for the treatment of diabetes, you can use it.
Okay. One more question. The second slide, you said some the preparation, the hydrogel preparation. It is having reliable and memory. What is that memory means? Better memory. Second slide. Yes, maybe the second slide.
Reliable shape stability and memory. Memory
Memory.
means that
What is this
the
memory?
hydrogel, if you are using hydrogel again and again, that shape is
Uh,
maintained. That shape and the shape is maintained. You can use it
oh,
either in the form of a gel or as a membrane you can use. That
okay,
shape
okay.
and
It
stability
retain
is
its shape.
maintained. Okay.
Okay. There are no more doubts. We can wrap this up. Once again, the feedback link is in the chat. So, maybe Timis, you can share it once more for those who missed it. So, the feedback link will be in the chat, and please do forget to give a feedback before leaving. So, just to inform everyone, the next faculty seminar, which will also be online webinar, will be taking place towards the end of October. So tentatively 30th October, the last Saturday of October, and it will be conducted by Mr. Shibilal. Okay. So thank you all for attending this webinar, and thank you, Deepa Miss, for conducting this webinar.